Good morning and welcome to Saturday Morning Comic Talk, our first show of 2025. So happy new year and welcome. So we have a great panel of guests today for our first show of the year. So let's start with some introductions. Sarah, we recognize you from before and thank you for coming back. So
thank you for having me.
Tommy, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I just started a new company. I've been doing this for like 10 years now, I guess, officially for 10 years. And, being a supporting character, I suppose, in comic books, other people's comic books. And now I've branched out to start my own thing. And actually, before I even published anything of my own, I took on a friend's title called Power Broker, which was why I was here last time. I was here talking about Power Broker.
Yeah.
And now I'm hopefully going to be starting the new year with some of my own stuff. So
Awesome.
Pretty excited about that.
All right, that's great. And Tommy, yeah, I've been on your show multiple times, so thank you for coming on mine.
Yeah, I'm happy to be with you, Ed. I always enjoy hanging out with you.
All right, so yeah, tell us a little bit about yourself and your title.
Yeah, so Tommy, I have my company called World at War Comics. We have a podcast where we interview comic book creators. And then we have a comic book called Kingsville. We're on issue 3 right now, which is currently on Kickstarter. And hopefully we reach our goal.
Yeah, I know it's getting close, and you did it. We talked about it last week. It's just that December month is a rough one to put a book out. I did it, and I tried to launch a brand new title in December, and yeah, it's always just an uphill run, but it looks like you're close, and those last 48 hours can be the best hours that you put out. So hopefully you get that last 48-hour push and, get to that funding goal, because I've backed all your books. I backed this one, and it's a great read. So hopefully, when we get to that part of the show, people, you can tell people about it and we can get you some more backers on that.
I appreciate it, Ed. Thank you.
All right. So if you've watched this show before, you know that I pick 3 completely random topics. And in fact, when we were talking backstage, I think I've come up with what I want to make one of my topics for next week. So, all right. Good morning, Josh. And I'm assuming you're talking about Tommy, because I'm not that guy from TikTok. I don't think I've ever shown my face on TikTok. I keep it away.
Sarah,
right.
Sarah, are you big on TikTok?
Most definitely not that guy on TikTok. I post videos of my cats on TikTok.
Yeah, I've done a few like little 1-minute comic reviews on TikTok, but again, I don't think my face has ever been seen on TikTok. I generally, if I can work without showing, I do. I feel camera shy, but I'm having to get used to it. I have 2 podcasts now, so it's kind of getting used to the comfort, but I just kind of don't. If you've noticed, I don't look directly at the camera much. I avert my eyes, so I'm sure that's not great. If I were in an acting school, they'd tell me I was doing it wrong, but hey, you know what? I somehow survive. All right, so we have 3 topics today. The first one that we're going to talk about is our New Year's resolution as creators. So everyone sets New Year's resolutions, but us comic creators, we actually go meet those resolutions. So, we're not talking, maybe you want to hit the gym, maybe you want to do things like that. But for creators, we come up with resolutions, and hopefully by the end of the year, you could come back and we do our wrap-up show, and you can talk about what things that you've done, what of the resolutions that you've actually hit. So, Tommy, what is your creator's resolution for this year?
We'll fund issue 3, and then hopefully by the end of the year have issue 4 done and out for the public. It's a 4-part arc for the first part of the story, and so I'd like to get that part done. And so my goal is to get that arc completed in the hands of readers. That'd be really nice if we could do that.
Awesome. Yeah, and it's like I said, I've had the first issues. It's a great story. It's worth your time. So hopefully, get some eyes on there and people will read it. So Sarah, what's your creator's resolution for this year?
Well, I guess to figure out the background boring crap about how you run a business, because I've had to do very little of that over the years, and so I got to figure that out. But also, I want to get my stuff out there. I have three titles that I'm, or four titles that I'm working on that I'm hoping. I mean, obviously I can't get them all out by myself this year, but hopefully half of them. That seems reasonable. If I get half that stuff out, that'd be great. So that's my goal.
Yeah, and I agree. The business side is always the worst side of things. It's just,
so boring and so complicated.
we're writers at heart. At least I know that's where I am. And as a writer at heart, I didn't go to business school. I went and studied English literature. I studied creative writing. I didn't study how to market myself. I didn't study how to, not, pour money out and lose it. So the business side of things, that's obviously something I want to do better at. And also promoting myself better, where it's, you don't want to just be a face who pops up every time you have a campaign out. And if you don't have a campaign out, you disappear. So my goal was to have more presence. That's why I created this show. I created my other show, which is just about music, but it's just not, okay, you're going to see me when a campaign is live. After that, I'm crawling back under my rock and disappearing. So I want to be out there and have presence. So that's one of my goals, to keep building that presence on YouTube and on the other social media. Maybe actually show my face on TikTok so I can be that guy from TikTok. Right now, I'm not that guy from TikTok. Only Tommy's that guy from TikTok. So Sarah and I both need to aspire to be that guy from TikTok as well. So yeah,
maybe we should have like a weekly challenge where we check in with each other to did you do a TikTok this week?
I like that idea. Yeah, that's great, because that's when you have that accountability partner, it's something that works. And I do that actually in my classroom. I make my students have accountability partners. So probably time for me to practice what I preach and have my own accountability partner. And Sarah be like, all right, were you that guy on TikTok this week, or have you failed us again? So yeah, get out there, make that presence known. So yeah, I like that idea, and we will follow up after this show. And then in a couple shows, if you were watching this one, you can drop a comment and say, have you been that guy from TikTok? And if I haven't, then I have let you down. So I'm not here to let you down. None of us are. So Sarah and I, soon Josh will recognize us from TikTok, and we'll be that presence on there. All right.
As long as TikTok still exists in a month, because there is that.
Yeah.
We don't really know yet, do we?
Yeah. So there you go.
TikTok. I have a feeling it'll start.
Josh is absolutely right. TikTok is about content. You can just go, like, I could just go and talk about my cats. Nobody cares if I'm talking about comics on my comic TikTok. Just talk about whatever, just whatever happens that day. Yeah. And people like it. And people just like you being normal and weird and yourself.
Okay. So I guess that's what I need to do. Just not have to make it a big elaborate production, because that's what I have on TikTok is, I have to do video editing and all this stuff, and yet it gets decent views, but I never just come on and, like you said, talk about your cats, talk about, I just picked up a new action figure, because I know, Tommy, I know you do that. You get a new action figure and you'll go on and talk about it, and a lot of views. Other people are thinking I might want that action figure, and he's going to tell me if it's worth my money or not.
Yeah. And it's, and you just, people like to hear from you. And I think that's probably my biggest obstacle, is that I have to have, like, I'm always like, I've got to have a reason to do this, but you don't, you don't, do you? You just, let's go talk about this thing that I've been thinking about today for 20 seconds. It's, you overthink it, and that's what makes you not do it in the first place, or at least it does for me.
Yeah. So only 500 on your bathroom. I would think you could get more for that. You might get banned, but no, I know. There you go. So you're a comic creator talking about bathroom renovation, and you get 500 views. So that's saying you're right. We gotta get out there and do it. So that's one of my resolutions, and Sarah's gonna help keep me on that one. So it's like, all right, drop that. Have you done your TikTok for this week? I know bathroom gets views. I'm going there. So Josh, I'm stealing your idea. It's like, come in and look at my bathroom. It's enjoyable. We got new toilets installed, so I guess we could talk about that. But I think I'll stick with action figures and comics. And then my other resolutions, releasing the books. I'm writing my new series, Dracula versus Sherlock Holmes. That one, she's about halfway done with the art. She ran into a couple obstacles and it's slowed down. But by the end of the year, we'll definitely have issue 1 out of that. But that means I need to finish writing issues 2, 3, and 4. And then my new one-shot floaters, that's kind of kind of autobiographical, except in the end of this story, he ends up becoming a ravenous killer. I didn't do that, but it's autobiographical about all the stuff I went through when I was getting eye surgery done to remove floaters, because they'd taken over about 40% of my visual field. So it ended up being 17 hours in hospital waiting rooms, multiple days, just nightmarish times. And this entire story was written in those waiting rooms. So it was definitely not a happy headspace that I was writing from. And that's why I wrote it as a one shot, because it's like, I don't want this to be a series. I don't want to have to get back in that headspace. But that one, I'm working with Dan Schmidt. He does the letters on my book. He also has his Worms Crawl In and Worms Crawl Out series, and he's going to be doing the art in that one. So really excited about that. And then 3 new issues of Immortal Era, finishing up this story arc and moving into the new story arc. So that means we'll have another trade released, and also, nearing the end. We'll be at the halfway point of the series, because like all creators, you don't start small. I would give advice to a creator coming up to me now, like, don't start your big opus on your first comic like I did. So, it's kind of, here I'm going to start with a 24 issue series that's indie. So it's not like Marvel will have that for you in 2 years. So that one coming out. And then I'd also want to get the next issue of Corruptor out. So lots of stuff. Hopefully I can meet all of those. But when you're, the business side of things, when you're self-funding, that makes matters a lot more complicated. So those are my resolutions for the year. And then Sarah and I will be on YouTube. We're going to be the new faces you get used to on TikTok, on YouTube, and aspire to hit Tommy's levels. So
yeah, right.
And then in Josh's bathroom levels. So
Yeah.
I don't have 500 views on any of my TikToks. So yeah, that's something.
To be fair, I've got thousands of views on the cat one, so I think that the key is cats.
Cats. All right.
They're not even doing anything particularly cute. They're just existing, and they got 5,000 views. So
yeah, see, I
just cats. That's where it is.
I kick myself. I don't have a cat. I have a dog, but we had this little rabbit that infiltrated our yard, and I would come home and the rabbit would be standing right there on the doormat, just waiting, because we started giving it food, and like any wild animal, you start feeding it. And I should have been filming like the adventures of the backyard rabbit, and I didn't. And now the backyard rabbit is gone, because man, we would hear owls hooting at night. We'd have cats stalking our yard. They were all looking for the rabbit, and we haven't seen the rabbit. So I should have been chronicling the backyard rabbit. So it's like I lost that opportunity, but that's the kind of thing that probably would have got good views on TikTok. And yeah, just, things like that. People like your cats. You get lots of views, and I overthink everything. So I just got to start, here, let's talk about whatever, what a movie here. I just watched this movie. Here's my thoughts. And moving
people
on.
like dogs too, so get the dog in the video.
My dog, yeah, and she's charismatic. So yes, start
there
filming
you go.
the dog and make it happen. All right, so hopefully, like I said, let's wrap things up at the end of the year when we're doing our year-end show, and hopefully we can say we've hit all those goals, or at least most of them, because obstacles can come up. I mean, any little thing can just become a roadblock in getting issues released. So hopefully roadblocks stay out of our way this year, and we get all of those things met. All right, so now we're switching things up completely, because that's how we do it on this show. I just come up with random topics, and I was thinking about this one. What's the worst adaptation of a book? And this can be to television or to film. Just one where it's a book. It can be a book or comic, doesn't matter, that you love, and they just completely botched it in their film adaptation. So Sarah, we'll let you go first on this one. What's one that you can think of that they just wrecked when they put the film adaptation out?
I've only answered a few of your questions from the last time I was on here and this time, but this was the first one that I immediately knew the answer was Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. That book is so good, and that movie is so bleh.
Yeah.
It just really, except, okay, so I really liked the robot, and I really liked Alan Rickman doing the voice of the robot, but the rest of that movie was very forgettable and disappointing.
Yeah.
If you've read the book, like, ugh.
Yeah, and I've read that book, and I know there was a BBC adaptation. I haven't seen that one. I'm assuming it's better, but you're thinking like the Zooey Deschanel one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and it even has good actors in it. There's no
Yeah.
reason for it to be bad, but it is. The writing, the script was bad. The author was not involved. I can't remember his name right now, but he wasn't involved
Yeah.
because he was dead. I mean, it's not
Yeah.
his fault. He died. I think he started to write stuff, but like it never made it to movie adaptation before he passed away. So,
Yeah, I
but
think
yeah,
he
it's
might have
just
been involved in the BBC one, but the BBC
Yes,
one might
he
have been
was.
like a radio broadcast. But of course, when you're doing a BBC, you're talking much lower budget. So this had that, major studio budget and crap writing. So it's
Yeah.
Neil Adams, correct? Is that the
Douglas
author?
Douglas Adams.
Neil
Douglas Adams.
Douglas Adams. Okay, so
Yes.
I was close, but yeah, I know. I've read the book, and yeah, you're right. It's just kind of a blah adaptation. My wife saw it, and she hadn't read the book, and she was like, it's just an okay movie. It kind of floats on that level of, if you haven't read the book, it's just okay, and if you have read the book, you're just shaking your head. And
Full of hate by the end of that movie. I left the theater so mad. I was so mad.
When we get
How
to my
could you
pick,
do that?
when we get to my pick, I'm in the same boat where it's not general ups. You don't just feel upset at a bad movie. You feel upset at a missed opportunity. And
Yes,
just
exactly.
watching something you love, and that movie or the series is just begging for a really good like HBO Max series where they can take their time and do it right. But after the movie flopped, they're just going to say, oh, there's no interest in it. But they don't realize it flopped because they completely trashed the adaptation of it.
Yep.
Hmm.
Absolutely what happened. Ugh. I'm mad all over about it again. Like, I even knew this was going to be my answer 2 days ago, and I'm, like, mad about it all over again.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah. So,
Triggered, huh? Yeah.
all right. So Tommy, what's your pick on this one?
I stuck with the comics, and I would have to say the Daredevil movie with Ben Affleck. That's supposed to be based off of Frank Miller's adaptation of Daredevil in the comics, which is literally a classic. And the movie, I just thought the acting was so corny. And I don't know, everything about it was very disappointing. I know Green Lantern, a lot of people think that's one of the worst ones. I actually didn't mind that movie at all. I think the CGI was a little before its time, so it didn't really look right. If it was made today, the same thing with better CGI, I think people would really like it. But boy, the Daredevil was hard to watch, and I've watched it a couple times, and it's just corny. Ben Affleck, not his best movie.
It's not a great acting role. That's probably when he was getting too much ego and just thought he was the top dog. And it's just, it's an ugly movie to watch where you look at it and they were trying to go for that dark aesthetic, but they wanted it to look like the Crow, but it had no artistry. It's like, all right, we'll make it look like the Crow by just turning the lights off and making it dark. And I agree. It's a complete failure of an adaptation because the Frank Miller is just so perfect. And, it's an easy one to do right, but they just managed to not do it right. And then they made the Elektra sequel that one no one talks about with any fondness, where I know some people that think about Daredevil and actually enjoy it. I mean, I disagree with them. They're wrong, but to each their own. But
that was certainly another one that
Daredevil. Oh, go ahead, Sarah. Sorry.
Just that on the same lines as Hitchhikers is it had good actors. There was no reason. It had good actors. It had good material. There was no reason for it to be as bad as it was.
Yeah, it has no excuse. And mine is in that same boat, and that is the Dark Tower movie adaptation.
Ooh, I haven't seen that one yet, but I heard bad things.
I was so excited because I read the entire series of the Dark Tower. Loved it, and it was begging to be just like this big series. We're talking, an adult version of Harry Potter because the fans of that series, they're just as excited and rabid about the material. And then they go to this whole thing of like, well, we're going to just write it like we're restarting the whole series and throwing out everything you loved about the series. The first book is more just like a Wild West story with fantasy elements, and they just went and kind of smushed 4 giant Stephen King books. We're not talking like, 4 children's books together for a movie. We're talking 4,000-page beasts of books and smushed them all into one god-awful movie with, again, good actors. So
I'm seeing a theme here.
Yeah.
Like there's good material, good source material, good actors, bad movie. I'm seeing a theme.
Idris Elba, I love him. He's a great actor. And when they cast him as the gunslinger, I'm like, okay, this has great potential. We could see something epic. And the original plan was to have movies, and then part of it would be on things like HBO Max, and you get it all, like the longer books turned into that. But instead they're like, hey, what kind of would work? Let's just take 4 books and smush them together. Like that ever works. I mean, I can think of especially children's books, because as a teacher, my kids they get passionate about series, and a lot of these series, they don't do the Harry Potter thing. They're like, okay, well, we're just going to get 2 or 3 books and squash them together, like Artemis Fowl. My students were so excited for that movie because it's one of my read aloud books every single year. Mm-hmm. And the movie came out, and it's like, all right, let's just take books 1, 2, and 3 and kind of squish them together and then do some of our own stuff because, we know better than the author. And you had another one that could have been a new Harry Potter. You had 7 books, you had a lot of potential for growth. And instead, it just flopped hard. And children's books seem to get the worst of it with the bad adaptations because they all want to be the next Harry Potter. Yeah. Every franchise out there is thinking, if we can get that Harry Potter money, we'll be set. But they don't follow the formula that Harry Potter did, and that's 1 movie per book. And then even at the end, splitting it. No, they're like, well, that we can take 3 books and put them into 1 movie. It'll work just fine. And to know that even for Lord of the Rings, that was the original plan. When Weinstein had the issue or had the rights to release it, he's like, no, you're going to release it into 2 movies, and they can't be longer than 2 hours each. So you're going to try to do 4 hours for 3, giant epic books. Thankfully, that turned out better, and we got 3 movie adaptations or 3 films for 3 books. But studios just want to cut the bottom line. And then you get things like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, Dark Tower. Nobody wants to watch them. You get the Daredevil, and that was, pre-superhero hype. And now, I think if they released one now, we might actually see a good Daredevil, because the series was great. When they put the Netflix series out, that was amazing. So we know the material can be done right, but I don't know. I think for Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy and Dark Tower, we're going to wait a long time before we see even another attempt, because the first one was just so bad and so reviled. We won't see it happen again.
Yeah. You said that children's books in particular, and it made me think, Aragon got messed up, and Percy Jackson got messed up. Yeah. And I mean, you said the 1 movie per book. I was just thinking Twilight. They did that 1 movie per book and broke up the second one. And I was like, those movies were still crap compared to, I mean, the books aren't a masterpiece either, but the books are pretty good and the movies are garbage. And yet that one was one that somehow escaped the curse. And I think it was because of teenagers in love thing. And they just, like, when you were a teenager, you were all full of hormones and just everything was the worst or greatest thing that's ever happened to you. So I think that one may have escaped simply because of that.
I mean, and those have such a huge audience. I mean, that they kind of blame Twilight for changing the whole dynamic of San Diego Comic-Con, because that brought in the big, the people that would have never stepped foot into a Comic-Con before now had tickets because they wanted to go to a Twilight panel. Okay. And generally people piss and moan like, oh, well, Twilight ruined Comic-Con. It's like, no, big Hollywood was going to do it either way. Yeah. But that just brought in the market of, the young teenage girls that generally wouldn't have ever gone to Comic-Con. But you can also look at it as maybe they went and got passionate about a book that they would have never approached now. They went to their panel, and then they went into the floor, and maybe they found an indie book that they fell in love with, because you just never know. And that's why when someone comes near me, I will pitch to anyone that gets near my table. And even, okay, here's a group of this group of girls, maybe 15, 16, came up and they're dressed like Powerpuff Girls, and I pitch them my book and they bought it. The next day they're coming up and they're just passionately excited about the characters and everything in the story. And are those girls someone that came because of Twilight or would have come because of Twilight, but now they found an indie series they love, and even if it's not mine, you can find something else. But yeah, I mean, purists, it's kind of like the whole thing with music, the sellout aspect. Like, oh,
yeah,
Comic-Con
that's a gatekeepy
is,
kind of mindset. And like, yeah, on one hand, I can see you don't want noobs coming in and ruining your pastime, but also it will still die with you if you do not let the noobs come in and decide if they like it or not. So I don't agree at all with that argument that Twilight brought in the teeny boppers and ruined everything. No, you need new people to come in.
It's a stupid argument. And
it is.
Here's the thing. I've exhibited at San Diego Comic-Con, and the monstrous crowds that you get, you can say, oh, it's because of Twilight or whatever, but it's an instant sellout. It's an event that, every big comic nerd wants to hit once in their life now. And if it's Hollywood that opened those doors and made people passionate about it, so be it, because I never sold better than at San Diego Comic-Con. I mean, I was blasting books out faster than I could get them. I was driving home and getting more stock because things were selling so well. And you can say, oh, well, that's because of, Twilight or whatever. But thank you, Twilight, for bringing in crowds like that. Because I've worked plenty of shitty cons where I couldn't sell a book for my life. And it's a beautiful thing to have to restock and not worry about like, oh man, I got to bring all this home. I got to pack all these heavy boxes back. So yeah, thank you, Twilight. And, now it's on every year they do a Wrapped on, TV, major TV, and that's fine. But like you say, the gatekeepers, they'll never be happy. And that's kind of like, well, when a band signs to a major label, they sold out and their only good material was their material before they signed. So yeah, the sweaty nerds can go to some small con and call it the pure one again, and they'll be fine.
I even have an argument. I used to be a big My Little Pony person until the Friendship is Magic that brought in the bronies,
Yeah.
And they ruined a bunch of the forums. They came in and just took it over.
Yeah.
And I have a good reason to hate to be a gatekeeper myself based on my experience there. And still I'm like, but I got a bunch of new friends out of that too. That yes, the bad ones came in and kind of messed it up a bit, but like the people that are still there that didn't bail like I did, because I did, I totally bailed, I admit it.
Yeah.
But the people that didn't, and the ones that owned and ran those forums, they stuck around and eventually they managed to equalize things again.
Yeah.
And that made me go, I regret doing what I did. I regret not just sticking it out and waiting for the wave of the annoying people to get their fill and then go away, because eventually they did, and then a handful of them stuck around and they're really great. So
yeah,
you just don't know. You just don't know until you let the new people in.
Yeah.
Oh, the bronies, man.
Yeah. So Dash, yeah, I agree. The Divergent series was complete garbage, and that was one that I had when I taught 6th grade. The kids were really excited about the books, and that series, I don't think they ever properly ended it. It just kind of it died. They wanted to split the last one in two because that was the Harry Potter formula, and it backfired, and we never even got the end of it. But yeah, with the bronies, I had 2 young daughters when that Friendship is Magic series came out. So I could name every single pony. I knew them well. And everybody like, you're just a brony. I'm like, no, I'm a father. It's like,
a girl dad. That's it.
I'm a girl dad. I get down on the floor and play ponies with my daughters. I can also name every Disney princess.
Did you see that Patton Oswalt bit about the ponies? Like, that's exactly it. You got to go watch that sometime. It's really funny. Because I'm not going to explain it to you. It's really funny. Just go watch it.
Yeah, I'll have to look that up. But yeah, it's just funny because it's, it was such a negative stigma where, oh, you're just a brony. And it's like, no, I have a daughter and she owns all those ponies, and they would do exclusives at Comic-Con, and the lines would be crazy because the bronies had to have them. And I'm like, great, I got to fight them because my daughter loves this character and she just wants it for herself.
And God forbid you enjoy it yourself too, or otherwise there's something wrong with you, right? Like, it's a pretty good show. I mean, come on, it's no masterpiece, but Friendship is Magic is a pretty good show. Yeah. Come on.
Yeah, my daughter has just started rewatching it. She's 18 now, and she's like, you know what? I just want to watch it again. So I mean, she loved it as a kid. She even loved the episodes where they became humans and the
Yeah.
Equestria girls. And I'm like, yeah, I can sing along with all those songs. I know it well. And like, not a brony, but like you say, a girl dad. And yeah, it's not to say it's bad, because trust me, I've seen plenty of bad children's programming, and that's not on the worst list.
They remember well, I guess not everybody remembers, but like, the stuff that we watched in the 80s and 90s. Go try and rewatch that now and tell me you don't find a problem with it. Come on.
It's so bad. I was watching with my younger daughter. We were watching those GI Joe PSAs, and it's so
Oh my
funny
gosh.
because every PSA is like, all right, you're home alone right now. Don't answer the phone. And since there's no parents at home, don't take any pills from the pill cabinets. I'm like, damn, they just knew we were
They gave
dropped
you
at home with
instructions on exactly what to do to get into trouble.
they're like, go talk to your neighbor and ask them if it's safe. It's like, damn, dude, I lived in the high desert. My nearest neighbor was a long damn way away, and I got into some shit. And I shouldn't have. And I mean, the kids growing up in the 80s, we were just feral monsters.
Oh,
and
yeah.
we were just running around, and G.I. Joe was like, dude, chill, you guys. Don't do that.
Yeah. All summer long, I bet you there was, with the exception of while we were asleep in our beds, there was no particular time. Okay, bed and like food times that we'd come back to eat. But like, my parents didn't know where I was. They didn't know what I was doing. I could have easily died, and it would take them a whole day to find out that I was not it's supper time. Where's Tara go? They didn't know where I was. None of us. I lived on a farm too. There's so much trouble I got into. Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, we were in the high desert, and this was before. I mean, it's built up a lot now, but when I was there, it was, oh my gosh, we had our street had like 4 houses. Now it's got 20 houses, 10 on each side, and it was just big open areas of fields. So that's what we did during the day. We just ran around in the fields of the desert and got into some stuff. I could have been dead, like you said. I could have been bit by a rattlesnake, and it would have been turning dark, and they'd been like, oh shoot, we should go round up the kids, and like, oh shit, he's been dead for 4 hours now.
Exactly. Like, there was so many opportunities to fall into a hole or get squished by a big animal or just or step in something and break my leg. Like, there were so many opportunities for me to get seriously hurt, and somehow I didn't. Okay, you can't see it here, but I do have a couple of scars from like.
Yeah,
I did go to the hospital a few times, but.
Yeah, there's always a few. I mean, I fell out of 2 moving vehicles when I was a kid, so I got nice scars from that. So it was like somehow we survived. I don't know. My kids had a lot easier childhood. They didn't have to grow up and like hope they didn't die most days. So it's funny because it was, for me, we were tossed outside because there were no parents home, and it was like, okay, you're allowed to come home when it's dark out. So yeah, we've definitely taken a diversion from our worst adaptation of a book, but hey, that's the best moment.
It is tangentially related. It's fine.
In a way.
The bronies. It's their fault.
The bronies, we went on the most divergent line, but hey, that's the best conversation. It's like we started with books, and now we're talking about nearly dying in the desert, and good times.
Whole thing.
Yes. All right. So now throwing things off in a different direction again. What do you think is the best era of music? So, Tommy, what do you think? What's your favorite era of music?
Definitely 80s, early 90s for me. I mean, that's when I grew up. So I'm a 70s baby. Mm-hmm. So yeah, those times, MTV was huge. So like both of you, at home alone most of the day as my parents work. My mother worked at the school. My father worked in tires, and he worked long hours. So sit in front of MTV, watching MTV Raps and everything else that was going on during that time. And then my dad is huge into country music, which I love. So some of the best country music and best rap, I think, took place in the 80s and early 90s for sure. So that's definitely my era. All my kids listen to that because I'm constantly listening to it.
Yeah.
And they for the most part agree that a lot of the best music came from that time frame. So I will fall on a sword for that. I think the 80s and 90s produced some of the best movies, music. It was just I think a time where people really had that kind of creative bug, and they were just creating things. And today you don't see that a lot, unfortunately. It's a lot of kind of reprints, right? Remakes and using the same song and maybe making a little twist to it. You don't really see a lot of that innovation that we saw in the 80s and 90s, which I think is a little sad. But I'm sure we'll get part 7 of some movie we've seen 100 times this in 2025, because I feel like that's, or we'll get a live action version of a cartoon, because I feel like that's all we're doing anymore. So
yeah.
But back in the 80s, I mean, everything was just brand new, and it just came out of nowhere, and it was just exciting constantly. And I feel like we've kind of lost that. And I'm sure social media has a big part of that. We're constantly seeing everything up to the second. And if you already know something that happened 2 minutes ago all the time, I feel like that removes a lot of that ability to create. So, but yeah, 80s and 90s for sure for me.
Yeah. And it just thinking about what you're saying, it's just, we got IP right here in this room. We have, 3 people that have created new IP. We don't need to see a live action version of a Disney film we've already seen. Yet that's what we're going to get ad nauseum. Okay, you like Lilo and Stitch? Here it is again, but live action. And
which is still, it's not real people. It's still CGI. So it's not
kind of like
a huge problem with them calling all like the Lion King and the most of the Aladdin movie. Like it's not live action. Stop calling it that. You're still animating. It's just a different kind of animation.
It's animated differently now. So watch it again. And here it's like, you loved Robin Williams?
It's animated,
Here's
but
Will
worse.
Smith. Yeah, here it's gonna look shittier. Please, give us another $1 billion, because that's what Disney needs. So, we got IP. Come this way, Hollywood, because we have good stuff ready for you. But I'm sure the world would rather watch 8 million remakes of live action or of animated films that are kind of live action now with green screens and actors and. Yay. But I guess our opinion is known on where we stand on that one. It's like, come on, let's give Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, circling back to where we were, give it another shot. Do it right this time. But
if they're gonna remake a movie, then like challenge yourself and remake a movie that sucked.
Don't remake don't remake the ones that we already love. We already know we love, Aladdin. When it came out, we loved it. We loved Beauty and the Beast. Just throwing Hermione Granger isn't enough to make me love it a second time. But here's something that I hated, that the source material is worthy of another adaptation. Let's see that instead of, okay, well, you guys loved Harry Potter. Let's do that again, but longer. It's like, come on, Hollywood, you suck. IP in this room. We're here. Netflix, give me a call. Or any one of us.
Yeah.
All right, so
it is the Sarah White. Yes,
the Sarah White.
It's the Fish Lee. It's the Uncle Fishy.
Uncle Fish.
So, and Fish Lee, who I got to meet in person at Nashville, so that was very cool. It's always fun meeting the people that you just do podcasts with. So Tommy,
right.
Tommy and I, we're at a lot of the same cons together. So he's on our coast, but Fish Lee. The Fish Lee, the Sarah White.
There's no reason that Fish and I, by all rights we're in the same time zone. We should have met by now. And we almost because I almost went to C2E2 last year and he did. And he was mad at me because I didn't go. And I was like, but money.
I actually was at C2E2 and me and Fish stayed in the same house. We roomed together.
How funny.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Fish awesome.
He's such an incredible talented artist, talented storyteller, and just a kind heart, man.
Yes. So the Fish Lee, and yes, soon Sarah and I will be those guys those guys from TikTok. Only Tommy has that mark right now. So, all right. So
it was Jeff's fault. Jeff, we're blaming it on Jeff.
Jeff ruined it. I
Jeff
don't know who
ruins
Jeff
everything.
is, but damn it, Jeff, why'd you ruin that whole opportunity?
I honestly don't even remember why we didn't go anymore, but we can blame Jeff. It's fine.
I'm with it. Jeff, I don't know Jeff, and
He's
Jeff
in the
might
other
be coming for
room
revenge.
and he's
Okay.
shouting, "No!"
It's like
Poor Jeff.
Jeff's gonna come hunt you down, John Wick style. Like, how dare you blame?
Oh no, he
Is
wouldn't
the
do
gentle
that.
soul? All right.
He's a very gentle soul. He would never do. Well, okay, I can't promise that he would never hunt anybody down John Wick style, but it would have to actually involve like the death of a pet, like the movie. So
I'm gonna leave your cat alone. Don't worry.
yeah, don't.
And
Well, I would come at you like a feral rabid raccoon if you did anything to my cat. So you wouldn't have to worry about Jeff. He would never get that far.
it'd be double John Wick. Like
Yeah, exactly.
two to the forehead.
Mr. and Mrs. Wick.
There you go. See, that's a new IP. Hollywood.
There you
let's
go. The Wicksters. You can start
Hey,
your own.
We're just riffing here, and we've written like 5 better movies than we've seen in the last year.
Right? What's up with that? Jeez.
Oh, come on, Hollywood. We don't need to know the backstory of Mufasa. No one cares. Was he bullied as a child? Is that why he's mean? Oh, fuck that. I'm tired of
I
that.
mean, at least in their defense, at least it was something a little different. Like they didn't just remake Lion King 2 again or something, like
Yeah.
why at least they did something a little different, but still, like, move away from that IP. There's so many other stories to be told. Stop it.
And don't ruin good villains. I mean, Maleficent, they had to change her. Like, oh, it's because she was treated so poorly. I'm like, can't villains just be awful and mean? I mean, we already saw what happened when you tried to tell us the backstory of Darth Vader. That shit fell off the rails, and we had to end. The final image that's had to stick in our head was the no. Like, damn it, you made him a little bitch. Why'd you do that, Lucas? How dare you? And I apologize to anyone who loves the prequels, because I've been attacked for not loving the prequels because I'm the wrong age. So yes, if you love the prequels,
I'm neutral
I
about
respect,
the prequels, I think.
I respect your opinion, and don't come at me. Don't John Wick me for hating the prequels, please. Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
So yeah, they ripped off things. Disney does that, and they probably send those quick payments, and that's the end of that. So all right, we have gone on another tangent. And Sarah, what's your favorite era of music? And yeah, I don't know.
Well, I guess it was okay to use all that time to go on a tangent because my response is exactly the same as Tommy. So I was like, I only can easily speak on the eras of music that I lived through, and for me, I feel like the most unique and most progressive time for music was, in fact, the 90s. And then, in the late 80s, early 90s, that's where I start having conscious memories of music. So, so yeah, I'd have to go with that too. But also, like, any era, you can pick a handful of good songs from anywhere, anytime. Okay, so people that know me are gonna be like, what? But I've been watching Bridgerton, and they do classical renditions of contemporary songs on that show. And I'm just like, I had no idea that this made an awesome classical piece. They did Wrecking Ball.
Yeah.
And Cheap Thrills. Like, they did so many of these, like, really contemporary songs that you wouldn't think, but it actually kind of works.
Yeah, a lot of that is Vitamin String Quartet.
Yes.
And they started off doing complete album covers of like different kind of indie bands. So they did OK Computer from Radiohead, and they did it as a string quartet. They did like their Bohemian Rhapsody is really cool, and they did a lot of the Radiohead songs they put into Westworld was where they started getting those. So
okay.
Yeah, they're ones I use them a lot in my class. Every Friday we do Name That Tune, and I play songs from Vitamin String Quartet because they always do different pop songs. So they do every year they put out, or not every year, like every 2 months, they just pick, 10 of the hottest songs that are playing right now. And I play those in my class, and the class loves it. It's okay. It's Friday. It's Name That Tune Day. I have classroom money. So I earn your classroom money, name the song. And yeah, they did Bridgerton. They did it from Westworld. And yeah, now they just do random pop ones, and their ones I've seen them in concert a few times, and they're just fun because they'll just pull out all kinds of crazy songs that you'd never expect to hear done as a string quartet. And it just, you feel fancy and refined while you're listening to Kanye West or something. So it's pretty funny. But yeah, I love their stuff too. And yeah, Bridgerton has brought like a lot of their stuff as well.
That's a marker of a really good song, is if you can take it and translate that song into any other genre of music and it sounds pretty good. That's a good song. Yeah. That's my opinion. I know it's not a, you can't prove any of this stuff, I guess, because it's all a matter of personal taste. But like, I feel like if you can do that, that's a good song. That's a keeper.
Yeah, and that's the thing with this answer. No one's wrong. It's just what your opinions are, and a lot of it comes where you grew up. Because if you listen to my other show, First Impressions, I am not a 70s person. Like, I don't like the 70s. The 80s was, like you said, when I started to make my own musical identity. Before MTV came out, as I said, I lived in the high desert, and there was this public access channel that would show music videos before they were shown all the time. And I just remember seeing those music videos and kind of shaping my own musical tastes, not the musical tastes from what your parents are playing, not, okay, well, here's my dad's album collection, that's my musical taste. No, like finding my own bands that I would love. And that's where I found Duran Duran and The Cure and bands like that. And then a lot of those 80s movies have great soundtracks that would introduce you to new bands. And then 90s as well. I think about in the 90s, the soundtracks would be just, these amazing mixtapes of bands that you wanted to go seek out. One of my favorite from the 90s is the Crow soundtrack, because it's just loaded with great alternative rock. And those were some of my favorite things. And I also have kind of a soft spot for the early 2000s, because I started to work. I was doing interning for Grand Royal Records, and my whole interning was just kind of running around and handing out flyers after shows. But because of that, I got to go to this infinite amount of shows and found so much music that I love. So I'd say like the 80s, 90s, and then 2000 to 2010, I have just passion for everything that came out during that time. And yeah, They Might Be Giants are just such a fun band. I love them.
I like They Might Be Giants.
I was playing them for my daughter because she loves the Coraline soundtrack. I'm like, oh yeah, one of the people from They Might Be Giants is the one who recorded the Coraline soundtrack. So she kind of found them through that. So I'm trying to expose my kids to different music. But the great thing is they're 14 and 18, so they're exposing me to some of the newer stuff. And I'll say, when people say there's no good music today, there is. You just got to do a little more digging. It's not as easy to find. It's not sitting on the surface, where during the 80s, during the 90s, it was right there. It was easy to find. Now you got to dig a little deeper. You have to go more underground, but there's great stuff out there. It's not so easy to find. And even in the 2000s, like 2000 to 2010, that's when nu metal was hitting hard, and that just was not my favorite thing. So, okay, so Dude from Devo, yeah, he's got kid stuff going on too. But yeah, I had to dig a lot in the 2000s, and I found some of my favorite bands, and what my kids are listening to. They're helping me find the good stuff that's out there, and I'm helping them find stuff because my oldest is really into 90s rock. So it's just funny. She's like, "Dad, do you know Nine Inch Nails? Do you know this band?" And I'm like, "Oh yes, let's go over to the vinyl collection and dig through." So kind of exposing each other. So yeah, there's always good music, but that kind of 30-year span is just my wheelhouse, where I can pull out albums from that one and still love them right now. So yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say if there's any bad era of music, just ones that I don't enjoy. Like the 70s, there's great stuff from the 70s, but we were having to listen to some stuff that was not my wheelhouse and made me feel like my vision was turning into like dull and muted, like every 70s TV show. And yeah, I like yacht rock. I detest that. So I don't know. Again, apologies to anyone who loves yacht rock. Don't come after me. But actually, go ahead, drop a comment. Tell me I'm
You're allowed to hate stuff. You don't have to
yes.
like everything.
Oh no, I've been attacked for hating the prequels, so I'm like, all right, if you're a Rocky
Why does everybody
enthusiast-
have just let people like and hate things? It's okay. Ugh.
Yeah,
You don't
right.
have to agree, but you don't have to attack. Jeez.
Yeah,
It's
I
not
guess
like
that's the
your
thing.
hate removes those movies. You can still watch them and still enjoy
Yeah.
them.
Yeah,
The
and it does
prequels
nothing
might
to
exist.
your like your hate of the prequels is not going to is not going to temper my feelings of mediocrity for the prequels because I didn't love them, but I didn't hate them either. They were fine, you know.
I think it's just
But
one-
your feelings about the movies do not change my feelings one bit. It doesn't.
And Hayden Christensen's still going to sell his autographs at $300 each and sell out all the spots of the con.
Is that what people are jealous about? Because he can sell his signatures and our signatures are worth nothing? Is that what they're mad about?
No, I don't know. I mean, he's still going to sell it out whether I say the prequels are good or not. And it's not like like idiots who scream about politics on Facebook. Your post isn't going to change my mind. And my hating of the prequels, if you love them, I'm not going to change your mind, and that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, indie bands on TikTok, that's where my kids find them. Fish, they'll find them on TikTok, and they'll say, "Oh, Dad, this sounds like something you would listen to." And anytime I drive with my oldest daughter, she's always getting her phone out. She's like, "Ooh, I like that," and she's taking pictures of my Spotify playlist because she's finding new stuff she likes. And
Nice.
I find lots of kind of cool indie bands on usually just Spotify. When you start playing one band, it'll kind of dig you into this rabbit hole of different bands that you don't know. And I also listen to NPR, and they do a playlist every week of the new releases, because my goal every week is to find one new song that I've never heard of and fall in love with it. So some weeks are harder than others, but I'm constantly digging for new stuff. And yeah, like I said,
I absolutely love it when I just stumble across a brand new song from a brand new band I've never heard before. I think that might be one of my favorite, like, especially when you're just driving down the road and it just pops on the radio. If you've got, because, you know, there's times where I just like nothing seems good, so I just turn on the radio and then just suddenly a band starts playing and I'm like, what is this band? What is this song? I love this. And that is maybe one of my favorite moments in life in general, is just when I find something new on accident, like I wasn't looking for it. It just surprises me. Love that.
Yeah, it's fun. And there's been, I mean, some weeks I'm just trying to find one good song and I throw it in my like list, and then I revisit it. I'm like, ooh, wow, it must have been a bad week in music because I don't like this song, I'm removing it. And then you find those ones where you're just like, now you love that song, you dig deep into the catalog of the band because you just want to hear more. And that's one of my favorite things too. That's actually the whole reason I created my other show. Was I have a co-host, and we pick 10 albums each, and hopefully some of his albums become something that I listen to and end up loving. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. So either one of you, you're welcome to join me on that one. We don't talk comic stuff. We just play an album once and talk about our first impressions on it, and hopefully discover some new and interesting stuff. Lately, my co-host has picked a lot of 70s stuff. He's torturing me. I know it. So after Gordon Lightfoot, I'm like, oh man, I can't take anymore. But now we're finally moving out of 70s, and he's dropping some stuff that I've never heard about, and I'm digging deeper into my indie knowledge and throwing some weird stuff his way. So yeah, it's fun because discovering new music that you love, nothing's better. It's like when you discover a new movie that you love. And yeah, I can't say this year that I've had that one movie where I just want to watch it over and over and over again. It's like, if there's one, please let me know. I don't see as many movies as I used to when before kids and before, you know, coaching and schedules, we got out to the movies a lot more. And I want to find one that I'm just crazy for. So drop it in the comments if we're missing a great movie that's not Mufasa. I don't need to go see that, even if it's amazing. You can summarize it for me.
I have not. I wanted to, instead of going to family stuff on Christmas, I wanted to go see Nosferatu. And I keep hearing everybody talk about how amazing it is. So I'm like, maybe I'll be able to get to go see it in the theater.
Yeah.
So we have we have the AMC, and then we have the nice theater. Like the AMC is fine, whatever. But
Yeah.
the theater with the heated reclining seats and the good popcorn, we got one of those. And so far, they haven't gotten the movie. And I was like, well, I'm not going to go see it at the AMC.
Yeah.
Because first of all, they always have their thermostat set 10 degrees lower, and they don't have heated seats, so it matters.
Okay.
It's always cold in there, but also,
Yeah.
fuck AMC. Sorry. I didn't mean to swear, but like, seriously though.
That's all right. I've been swearing this whole time, so you're more than welcome.
I was, it slipped out, and I never even asked what your rules on
That's right.
cursing are.
No, and as we said earlier, it's okay to hate.
Yeah.
I mean, I get yelled at because I remember at one time I said, okay, I found episode 2 to be the worst Star Wars that's ever been done. And we're talking like the Ewoks show from back in the day, worse than that. And I detest that movie. And then someone says, shut up, Boomer. That was their reply to me. I'm like, fuck you, I'm Gen
Oh
X.
my god. That's such a seriously though?
Yeah, that's a whatever the new gen is, that's their response to everything. So yeah, Chasing
Amy is an amazing movie. It's
I
just
love that
so
one.
like it's slice of life the right term. Like it's just a one day and it's so normal, but like it's so good. Ah,
Yeah.
I
I
love
agree.
Chasing Amy.
Yeah, and that's what I want is like those great indies, and I know they're out there. I don't put as much time and energy looking for them as I used to. I used to like with bands, I would just constantly be searching and researching and trying to find what's this unknown movie that I've never seen. I remember when Memento came out, and I had to drive to this LA theater to even find it because it didn't get a mass market release, and just being blown away. And that's what I miss is that, okay, what do I need to drive out to some art house theater to find and love? So yeah, please, if you know of movie, let me know. Drop it in the comments. I'd like to know because, like Fish said, those amazing movies, we're not seeing those. They're not. I guess they're just not. They're hiding. It's kind of like the great music of today. It's hiding below the surface, and I just don't have the time and energy to dig for the great music and the great movies because there's only so much time in a day, and we got to market our shit. We talked about that earlier. So we got to become that guy on TikTok, and we can't do that if we're constantly digging. So we have gone on many tangents. So now we're going to move to our final topic, and this is amazing. Nothing is more fun than tangents. So thank you for going on a weird ride on this one. And Fish, I'm going to blame you since you blamed Sarah. Since you blamed Sarah, we're going to blame Fish. So buried deep in the Netflix queue, I guess there is, and that's what I got to start digging for. So Fish, let me know what's the one I need to find, and then let's talk about our campaigns. We have one that's live right now, so we're gonna let Tommy go first because he is live right now. So let me get that shared. And it is Kingsville issue 3. Tell us a little bit about Kingsville.
Yeah, so Kingsville is an island nation. It is north of the main continent in this world. They are known for mining and fishing. And, obviously they are apart from the main continent, so they kind of have their own culture. And the main continent, it's made up of, 30, 40 countries. And within the main continent, there's a nonprofit organization called the Alliance for Global Safety, and they are trying to bring nations together to do good things, safety, security, trade, all that good stuff. And Kingsville, a mining nation, they get their hands on this mineral that they don't know what to do with. They don't have the resources to figure out what it is. AGS, who has all the resources in the world because all these nations are partners with AGS, they take that mineral and they find out that there is properties that can enhance human abilities. And they start to inject it into humans and create a superhuman team. And now they're using that team to gain more nations. So they're promising nations that, hey, if you join AGS, you will have your own superhuman in your nation to help with safety, security, all that good stuff. Well, AGS is getting more and more powerful because they keep creating these superhumans, and Kingsville is a little worried about the power that they're gaining. And so they're cutting them off from this mineral that they need to continue to build their power. And so everything on the outside looks good with AGS, but internally, as people are rising up to question the power that they're gaining, they are sending these superhumans out to remove those people so that they can no longer speak. So right now in issue 3, we're about to see a war take place between Kingsville and AGS, and I'm pretty excited about it. It's again, I don't have a lot of the sexual stuff in my book, but there is a little bit of blood and guts. So that's the worst you're going to get. Some heads come off and some arms go through people. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun. The first 2 issues have been successful. Again, I did start my Kickstarter probably at the worst time. Wasn't even thinking about the election, to be honest, and that probably hurt it more than anything because I think people are just trying to figure out what's going to happen. But I'm hoping that we will come through. We got 8 more days right now to help it. I have all these extra figures that I have doubles of. Or sometimes when I'm out shopping, I'll pick up something that I think will be a cool giveaway for, hitting certain thresholds and Instagram and TikTok. And so the last 10 days, every day I'm doing a drawing of backers. So if you become a backer, you'll get thrown into my wheel giveaway. And every day I'm giving away something that, hopefully will spark some interest in the comic as well. So we're having a lot of fun. I enjoy it. Either way, it's a hobby and I love doing it. So, issue 3 is coming. We're about halfway done. So it's not like we haven't even started yet. We're about halfway done. So the funding that I will get from this will go directly to Dan, who is our artist, to help us finish the book.
Excellent. Yeah. So it's close. There's a few days. There's about 8 days left?
Yeah, it should be about 7-8 days. Yeah.
Do you have a catch-up tier, a digital catch-up tier? Because those are my favorites. And I have not heard of your book somehow, and I'll have to go back it.
No worries. So we have issue 1 of Kingsville right here. This is a second printing because I ran out of the first printing. So this will be available for people who are new. And then I have still a few of the issue 2 left over. And I have some variants as well. This is about as sexy as I get right here. This is Lady Lex, and then I have a virgin cover of that as well. These do really good at cons because people like kind of those virgin unique variants. But yeah, those are all available. So catch-up tier digitally and in physical.
So there's the digital catch-up tier, $10 to get caught up.
You're only charging $10 for all of those? That's madness.
That's digital.
But for digital though, $10 for all of them?
Yeah.
It's madness.
So a great price. And then it's only $18 for the physical catch-up tier. So we're talking amazing prices.
Yeah.
I mean, you are competing with Marvel prices. And you can go and look at some of the books that are on Kickstarter and they're wanting $25 for one book. And I've seen plenty of that. And I understand. I mean, comics are not cheap to make, especially for us writers with no artistic skills. It's a challenge, and he's keeping the prices affordable. $10 if you want all the digital, $18 for all the physical. I'm a physical copy collector. I have my long boxes in the garage, so I always back that way. But either way, you're getting an amazing bargain. So get in there and give this book some love. It's getting close to its, and he says coolest sticker he's gotten. So so
thank you, Fish. Uncle Fish has been a huge help to me. I look up to him. He's awesome. And he's always been a great backer. And I do have some pretty cool stickers, I have to admit. So everyone gets stickers if you get a comic. So I always add stickers. They're fun.
Yeah, he had stickers. He did the poker chip one time, and I stole the idea, so I did a poker chip on my Immortal Era issue. So it's like, I love you get some people that probably don't care about any of the free swag, and you get some people that's the reason they're backing is they want the cool free swag. So it's always fun to get that.
Learned about the poker chip stuff, and I designed a poker chip for a campaign, but we never used it. And I'm curious about how popular that is. So I have to pick your pick your brain about that. I don't want to pick your ear.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
probably don't want to do that.
That's weird.
The older
I don't know.
get, the grosser my ears become. You have to get through part of the hair.
All right. So, Sarah, I know you don't have a live campaign right now, but tell us what you're promoting.
Yeah, officially I don't have a live anything, but what I do have is an almost ready to launch backer kit store for Power Broker. So if you missed it and you want to grab a few things, we're going to be sending out surveys next week and opening up the backer kit store so that people can come in and refine their pledges, or if you didn't get in there, you can still get a chance to get a book, and then hopefully we'll get this stuff out end of the month if I'm really lucky.
Yeah.
I know that there's been shipping delay or from printers, printing delays, not shipping delays. And well, I guess shipping delays depending on where you are, because lots of strikes and stuff. But but yeah, this one is what if you could buy superpowers, and how would that world work? It's a very cool story. You can get catch up, like we got catch up tiers on for physical and digital, so you should be able to still get all of those.
Yeah.
And that's another one that Uncle Fish supported. So, if you trust his words, then this one's a good one.
Yeah, absolutely.
And amazing art too. We've got great art.
Yeah, the art looks amazing. I'm just kind of scrolling through, and somehow I missed this one. So when the backer kit pops up, I can redeem myself for missing it the first time around.
Yeah,
absolutely.
me too.
Yeah, it's a
You
very
got
good.
hats. I'm always looking for good hats, so that one looks very nice. Because I don't want trucker hats, but that does not look like a trucker hat. So
Nope, that's a. I think it actually the name of the product is called the Dad Hat.
Yeah, that's the
so
thing they're
it's
called
perfect.
now. Yes,
I don't know why. But yeah, I hate those ones with the plastic vented back. Like we all Todd and I both agreed we hated those, so we got the canvas or is it canvas? It's the cloth, the cotton ones with the embroidery. So
Yep. Yeah, that's what I have. I have Immortal Era ones. My Immortal Era one is just very tired, so I need to reorder. But when I ordered, I think I ordered about 50, and it took a long time to sell out. But now when I go to cons, I pretty much save it for the cons, and people go, "Oh, how can I get one of those hats?" I'm like, "Where the hell were you when I was sitting on boxes of these things?"
yeah, no kidding.
I think I'll do another reorder of 50, and it's like my wife tells me, those things don't go bad. It's not like, oh, it sat too long and now they're moldy, so we got to throw those hats out. It's like, nope, we can keep them, and eventually they'll sell. And all these people that keep asking me at cons, where do I get one? It's time to put your money where your mouth is and buy that shit. So,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. I did just made to order, so these are a little more expensive, these hats are, but
yeah,
I just it's something that we can offer, and if people really want it, then they can, and they have the money, then they can pay the little extra for it, because I don't have any place to keep 50 hats. So
yeah,
that's my only. Otherwise, I would love it if people wanted them enough that I could get them and be sure that I wouldn't have to find a place to store them.
Yeah,
but this apartment sucks, and there's 14-foot ceilings in here, and nowhere to store things, because I guess if we built shelves up there, maybe, but
And I forgot to put the link, so I'm going to put it in right now, the Kingsville link. And yes, Fish, hat bread. So if the hats spoil, I will make the hat bread. All right.
hat bread.
So you can get that one right there. And then Power Broker, not up yet, but it will be soon, where you can go on a backer kit and redeem yourself, like I will need to do.
Yep, I'm planning on opening that up on Monday. I will send a backer update for that too. But yeah, as far as everybody on here, if you haven't backed, you're not going to get that email. So you'll just have to bookmark the page or something, I guess.
Okay.
Or you can go, if you go to my Facebook, and I got Facebook and Blue Sky, and I got a Twitter account, but I really it recommended Tim Pool to me, and I didn't like that, so I don't like Twitter.
Yeah, I can say I blame you.
And what else? Instagram and Threads. I've got all of those, so go find Definite Article on there somewhere, and it's at Definite Article Creative on pretty much everything. And so you should be able to find me easily enough, and then just click whatever link I post and you'll find it.
Yes, and soon on TikTok, with the cat.
Yes, also on TikTok. Yes, definitely with cats. Like that's a given.
Yeah, so Power Broker. So for the last few weeks, I've had nothing to promote, but yesterday I just put my newest issue in pre-launch. So it's not live yet, but I can tell you what it's all about. So Immortal Era 10. So it's going to be launching. I'm actually going to be launching this one in 2 weeks. As you can see, our follower account hasn't gone public yet. So please hit that notify on launch button so we can get to 10 people and I have an actual account. Right now, I don't know where my account is because it won't show me. But Immortal Era 10, if you haven't read Immortal Era, I'll give you the little backstory on it. It's about a world 200 years in the future where everyone has become immortal. So in the year 2000, everyone gains immortality, but no one gains powers or abilities. So they still age, still get sick. We have a main character right here who's just a decapitated head who continues living on. So it centers on our group of heroes who are out seeking relics that would explain why people became immortal, because for them, their goal is to restore the natural life cycle back into the world and save humanity by killing them. So it's going to be a 24-issue series when it's all said and done. Right now, we're releasing issue 10, but the artwork for issues 11 and 12 is done, and we'll be pretty much every 2 months launching a new Immortal Era issue this year, leading up to our second trade that will collect issues 1 through 12 together. And I'm also going to throw in that a story that I wrote for the Tales from the Collective initiative, and that is actually the origin and the first appearance of the major villain for the third story arc. So this one, our main characters are trying to infiltrate the headquarters of where they control these soldiers that they call aid soldiers, where they take elderly people, wipe their brain, and make them into these terrible super soldiers. Well, they're going to infiltrate that place because their goal is to destroy that and to also get another one of the relics that they need to bring death back into the world, because that's the ultimate goal for the series, is to have people age and die like they should. In this world, they age, but you can live infinitely and never die. So this will be issue 10. Issue 9 was a backstory of this character, Father. It focused on him. Now we get back to our main action in issue 10. And thank you, Fish. Oh, 18. Okay. Well, it wasn't showing me that, but I appreciate you following. And I know Fish has issue 1 at least because he got it from me at Nashville. So thank you for that. Hopefully I can hook you in and get going out. It keeps giving me the link for Power Broker and the other one. So let me fix this, get the link for it. But yes, we're at 18. So my goal is to get 100, but I'm only going to have it in pre-launch for 2 weeks because I want to get it in there for the Make 100 for January, because we did a Garbage Pail Kids homage cover that has our main character Ari like jumping up and slicing the head of one of the cannibals from the underground, and it's done in a Garbage Pail Kid style, and we're only doing 100 of those covers, so that should be fun. And then one of the stretch goals that we'll try to release will be an actual sticker form of that, so you can get a Garbage Pail Kid sticker of our homage cover. So lots of stuff. And then we're also going to have a draw-in tier. So if you want to be in the final pages of this story arc, you can either be a cannibal or someone being eaten by a cannibal. So you have 2 choices. Do you want to be consumed, or do you want to do the consuming? And like Tommy, many decapitated heads in my book, much blood, no nudity, but yeah, I make up for that with all the blood. So yeah, it's like, all right, they keep their tops on, but they don't keep their heads on. That's how my book goes.
You literally have a floating head. So
I do, yeah. I mean,
yeah, the floating head is by default nude, isn't it? Because, but yet you're getting none of the things that you think of when you think of a nude person. So
yeah, you're like, ooh,
so like all of the nudity, none of the satisfaction.
Yeah.
You get full frontal decapitated head nudity. Enjoy. Start
Love
some
it.
of that. Not
I
safe
guess
for
the
work crowd. I'm ready.
decapitated heads could wear hats if somebody would put it on for them. So
Yeah.
Yeah, he
could
just
go with
floats
that.
around on his little thing and lives his best life as a head. Because
nice.
what can you really do
Mm.
Yeah.
when you're nothing but a decapitated head? You gotta do what you can. So definitely follow these links. Get on there. Get Kingsville funded. It's getting close. Power Broker, make up for your past mistakes when Backer Kit comes and get it backed, because Sarah's going to be asking me about being that guy on TikTok, and also, have you redeemed yourself? Because right now she's angry at me still, and she's going to send, and it's going to be John
So
Wick
angry.
stuff coming my way. Yeah, I know. I mean, I'm angry. I barely forgive myself, and I don't know how I'm going to sleep tonight. So, I will sleep when the Backer Kit comes up and I have full redemption.
Yeah. That's great.
And yes, get on there. We have 18, so I didn't even know. Fish informed me we have 18 followers, so that's
Yep.
amazing. I'm putting together my email list and just kind of talking about what's going to be coming out this year. But for now, Immortal Era 10 will be our first book of the year, and it's going to be, we're going to start lettering it actually next week, and it'll be printed and ready to go by the time the Kickstarter even ends. And like I said, you'll get your Garbage Pail Kid cover, and hopefully we can unlock Garbage Pail Kid stickers, because everybody needs those, and save them, because one day they could be worth a lot of money and you'll regret sticking them on your wall like I do my Series 1 Garbage Pail Kids that I had as a kid.
Yeah.
Like, damn, that atom bomb could have come in handy right now when I needed a new car, but no, I decided it looked better on my wall. So
Yeah.
I admire people who have the courage to stick their stickers somewhere. I just keep mine in a box in my
Me
desk.
too.
yeah, I did as a kid. I put all the Garbage Pail Kids up because I thought, I collect baseball cards and football cards and basketball cards. No one collects stickers, so they were just cool and I enjoyed them. But who knew? It's like, all right,
Who knew?
Time Machine
Fair enough.
needs to go steal those from that kid before he puts them on the wall. All right, so Green Zone 4 launches in February.
Virgil, we get more Virgil. Yay!
All right, so good stuff. And Fish, hopefully in February you can come join me on here and you can take us on tangents. I mean, you did a good job today in the comments, but I want to see how far off my topics we can get. And today we ventured far from the topics, but that's the best of times.
I love it.
I think the last time Sarah was on, we went way off topic too, but
Kind of my thing. Like, that's Fish and I together. You'll never get anything done, probably.
Dangerous.
But
oh no, going off topic's the best. The ones that we stay on topic, I wonder what happened.
yeah, I gotta say, I think that the ones where we stay on topic the whole show are kind of boring. They end up being the most boring ones to be on and to watch.
Agreed.
To be fair.
Yeah, and especially if the only topic is tell us about your campaign.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Then you get me like, I'm gonna turn my camera off because I'm gonna read a book while I wait for my turn. So
Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding. Y'all, I had an idea to start a live stream it's called Launch Party, and it's about having people on to talk about their campaigns. But I need to figure out something that's more interesting, like we got to play a game, or you have to answer some trivia about your something about your trivia about your book or something. Like, there's got to be something more interesting, and I haven't figured it out yet. But once I do, it's going to be the most exciting Kickstarter show to watch.
I'm ready for it. Yeah, that's the one, because you think if we're bored, the people tuning in on other platforms are also bored and probably just turning it off.
Yeah,
nothing says dull more than, okay, let's talk about your topic, and that person decides they want to read their entire campaign. I'm like, dude, we can read. We got this. You don't need to read it for us. And then talk about every single reward. So someone
unnecessary.
wins a freebie. I like that idea. And that's my goal, because I'm also trying to grow my YouTube. Right now, we hit 100. That was my first goal. And when I do my next con that's coming up, I'm actually going to be doing 2 this month. I'm going to say I have a $50 gift card. You can win it if you follow all my social medias, and hopefully grow it that way through bribery, because whatever gets them on there, that's what I'm here for. Like, all right, if it takes bribery, at least you're following, and hopefully I don't annoy you enough that you unfollow it, that you just think, all right, I can just ignore that. I don't need to worry about it. But yeah, I'm gonna try that bribery. So Fish's idea of let's, someone backs during the show win something. I like that one.
Yeah.
And then yes, oh yes, that I have seen that idea, and I've seen that person where I know I was on one, and the guy talked for 20 minutes about every single aspect of his campaign, and I'm just like, we can just read it, give us the highlights, give us the good part, like when you're at a con. I give my pitch in a minute or less. Like, I'm not here to waste your time. You got other things to do. I can pitch both my books in like 50 seconds. I've timed it. Like, I will get you out of here in a minute or less and pitch both my series. So yeah.
Yeah, they call it an elevator pitch for a reason. If you can't do it, if you can't explain your book in the time it takes to ride an elevator a few floors, then it's nobody. You got to work on that because
Yeah.
I like the one sentence approach. I'm trying very hard to make sure I can pitch a book in one sentence.
Yeah.
It might be a run-on sentence, but it's still a sentence.
I'm not that good. My goal was a minute. Like, I will, and that's what I tell them. Like, if you give me 1 minute, I can give you both my books and give you a few seconds back of your time. I think my best was like 40 seconds for 2 books because they're in a connected universe, so that makes it a little bit easier. So it's kind of like shared universe, and it has, I have my big inline, and that's, hopefully it hooks them. If not, when I do the next few cons, like, all right, well, you're not interested in my book, I have a $50 gift card. That's what you do want, because you may not want to buy my book, but everybody likes free money. So follow my stuff, and I will try not to annoy you. But
nice.
I make no promises. So yeah, I'm trying to get my YouTube promoted. I'll actually put the link of that one real quick as well, because we are at, I think it's 104 was my last one. Tommy he has all the YouTube followers. He can give some he can give some to me. Because
that's almost 3 years of
yeah, and that's the thing. I'm at
300 videos. That's why.
I have a show too that's coming back for the new year now too. So it's on Agents of Geekdom though. It's not just my channel. But Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, come watch Critical Affection. We're starting up this coming Monday with Agatha All Along. We're going to talk about Agatha All Along.
Very cool.
I've got a trivia game, and you can win a prize.
Yes.
Nice.
So I just dropped my link in there. Yeah, and I know yours is 3 years. I'm at 3 months. I started in October, so 100 was my goal.
100 in a couple of months is pretty good.
Yeah, 100 was the goal for the year. We met that, so it's like, okay, good. Now next goal is, I'll just say 125. Like, not do anything too crazy, but yeah, Tommy's had it for 3 years. He works to get the best guests. I mean, he gets Todd McFarlane. I mean, I get good guests too. Look at this room. This should be getting big numbers, because we got Fish, who's coming in eventually. We got Sarah, we got Tommy. So I get the good guests, but I do not get Todd McFarlane, not yet. So hopefully one day pulling a guest like that. And then Sarah's got her show talking about Agatha All Along. So I haven't watched it yet. I need to do it. I've heard good things. It's just, as I was saying,
it's a pretty good show. Yeah.
Not having the infinite time.
We're also going to talk about Deadpool and Wolverine and Arcane, and I did throw in an old school Avatar: The Last Airbender cartoon. And then in February we're going to be talking about Wicked, and that's as far ahead as I've planned.
Okay, well, I have seen Wicked, so I can join you in that one. And
absolutely, you are so invited. Actually, I should probably invite all of my comic friends that were all in all those groups together, and I should just throw out an invitation, because the more the merrier. Up to 10 people anyway, right?
Absolutely, yeah. Up to 10. The more the merrier, up to 10. All right, well, thank you both for joining me today. Go out there and back that Kickstarter, because right now he's the only one that's live. Hopefully, like I said, in about 2 weeks, you can back mine. But right now, it's all about Kingsville. For the next 8 days, Kingsville is your book to back. Fishly approved. If it's Fishly approved, you have to back it.
And that is absolutely why I'm going to go back it as soon as we're done here. And then I'm going to go follow your campaign so that I can grab that when it's live, because that sounds really fun too. I mean, come on, Floating Head.
Yes. Yes, Decapitated Head. He's my big selling.
Obviously, I want that.
He's the make or break moment. When I talk about the Decapitated Head, it's either that's disgusting or, oh, I'm intrigued. So you watch people fold when, I'm flipping through the book and showing all the grossest things in it. And it's like, all right, this is either going to catch you or you're going to be gone. And hi, Carlos. Hope you're doing well. And he found
Wrong
the
YouTube.
wrong YouTube. All right.
Whoops.
Well, that one's mine. We know Tommy's. His is the World at War comics with, what is it, 4,000 now? Is that what you just hit?
Say that one more time. I'm sorry.
Did you hit 4,000 for your amount of followers
On
YouTube?
TikTok?
No, on
YouTube,
your
I have
YouTube.
11,000.
11,000.
11. Wow. Congrats.
He's
Thank
killing
you.
it.
Yeah.
That you can send some, just tell him, hey, you go this way.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give away
Well,
1,000 of you to me. So I'm not that greedy. I'm only taking 1,000, and then my TikTok ones, I guess I gotta earn my own by being that guy on TikTok. So Sarah and I, we're gonna be that guy on TikTok, talking about cats, I should have talked about the backyard rabbit, but the time is over. So, all right. So, thank you for joining me. Thank you everybody for watching, and have a great weekend. Go back World at War Comics and make sure you get your copy of it. And we will see you next week, same time, same place. And last comment, Carlos, thank you so much. And tune in next week. We'll be here 9:30 with new guests, new topics, new tangents. Tune in, find out.